Fuse flavors. 2 area locations open until 8 p.m. every day. Follow Philly Freeze Me on social media at Philly Freeze Me or online at phillyfreezeme.com.
Join us for a once-in-a-lifetime experience to see the Hoover Dam up close and personal on a guided tour of Lake Mead. Sit back and enjoy the cool breezes aboard the Desert Princess paddle wheel boat while taking in the sights of the greatest man-made engineering wonder of the modern world and National Historic Landmark. To reserve a spot on the Hoover Dam sightseeing tour or the Sunset Dinner Cruise, visit LakeMeadCruises.com.
Hey, this is Bobby.
Immersive Disney animation is the groundbreaking experience of a lifetime, featuring the animated sights and sounds of Disney's most iconic films, from The Lion King to Frozen to Encanto and more. Step into the magic of Disney's greatest characters. Immersive Disney animation is now open at Lighthouse Art Space Las Vegas at the Shops at Crystals. Tickets at DisneyImmersive.com. Brought to you by the producers of Immersive Van Gogh.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
It's time for the most interactive radio program in Las Vegas today. It's time for Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro. Brian will talk sports, politics, entertainment, and anything that matters to you. Feel free to call Brian at 702-221-7283.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Now, Pushing the Limits, here's Brian Shapiro.
All right, what's up, everybody? How's it going? It is Pushing the Limits on a Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everybody had a great Father's Day weekend. It's always nice when my headphones literally break 3 seconds actually.
Me too.
Yeah, before I go on the air. We have wonderful equipment, but anyway, welcome.
Falling apart.
Well, yeah, the studio's falling apart, ladies and gentlemen, but welcome to the show. Appreciate all of you being here. We're going to have some fun today. We got a lot of great guests and a lot of things to touch on and talk about, Mr. Guy David, including how was your weekend, by the way? How was your Father's Day weekend? You're a father. How was your weekend?
I was alone.
You were alone.
Just
on
did my own thing.
That's very depressing.
Bought myself a Dairy Queen ice cream to celebrate myself. Had it by myself in the car. Yeah.
Well, me and Guy,
I think I was in bed at like 8 o'clock some nights.
We met up with some people. Well, I should say I did over at Cigar Bar. I like a cigar once in a while. We met up with a bunch of people, and Guy was one of the people that was invited, and he slept through it. He just fell asleep.
Dude, I felt so bad about that. Can I use this opportunity
You should feel really horrible.
Stop talking for a second. Can I use this opportunity to sincerely apologize? I got home, I put the golf on for a second, and then I'm like, I'm going to have a shower and leave. I've already told him I might be a bit late. I woke up like an hour and a half later, and then I'm going to be completely honest. I was so mortified by the situation that I took like half an hour to text you. I sat there looking, going, what do I do? What happens if he's there by
really
himself?
Not a big deal.
What happens if he was there alone waiting for me?
No, I would have left long before that.
I felt really, really bad.
No, it's okay. It's not a big deal, really. I didn't know you were mortified. No need to apologize.
It was horrible. I don't do that. I don't want to do that to people.
You could buy me a cigar. It's okay. It's not a big deal.
You're hating me inside, aren't you?
No, I'm not. We were kind of laughing at it. We thought it was kind of funny. Watched a lot of the U.S. Open over the weekend. Congratulations to a guy where most casual sports fans have no idea who he is, but his name is Wyndham Clark, and lost his mother to cancer 10 years ago. All right. Now, I'm going to sound like a real douchebag right now.
Oh, God.
Okay?
You haven't prefaced me for this.
It's horrible when you lose a parent, when you lose a family member, no question.
Yep.
Especially within the first year or two. I want to dedicate this to my mom. I want to dedicate this to my dad. Like, I totally understand that. I would do the same thing. All due respect. And again, people are going to think I sound like a douchebag, but people think that way about me anyway, so who cares? Who gives a flying you-know-what? When your mom has passed away and it's been over 10 years, do you still think it's appropriate, nonstop, to be talking about her and dedicating everything in your life to her? Do I sound like a douche by saying maybe there should be a time limit? I don't know. Is that a horrible thing to say? He lost his mom over 10 years ago. Horrible. I feel terrible. Died of cancer. But this was 10 years ago.
I mean, you can relate to more than me because you obviously tragically lost your sister
Right.
recently. So
Yeah.
maybe it's, I don't know. Why do you care? Like, why is this bothering you?
It really doesn't bother me that much, but I just wanted to get your take on it. He already won other golf tournaments. Dedicate that to your mom. But we're 10 years down the road now. Should there be a time limit on when you can dedicate something to a dead family member?
Well, I know that the media really, really built it up. They were talking about it the whole week.
Yeah, but he
He's
talked about it a lot too.
He's never
which is
finished
fine.
better than 75th.
Listen,
they made it the story.
They did.
And he did jump on that, and he broke down with emotions when he won, dedicated to his mother.
And I'm happy for him. He seems like a good guy, and I'm happy for him, and it's great. Dedicated to your mom. I'm just saying, should there be a time? Like, can you win a? Let's just say you won a poker tournament, right? You won the World Series of Poker, and your mom died 35 years ago. Can you say, I want to dedicate this to my mom? She was with me today. Like, I don't know. Like,
okay, let me ask you this: you were a golfer. You just won.
I played golf this weekend.
Hypothetically, you won the U.S. Open in 9 years, 10 years' time.
Yeah.
Your sister died last year. She helped you with your career. She supported you. She did a lot for you. Would you not, even though it's 10 years, dedicate that win to your sister?
It's a good question. I think I would certainly mention her, and I certainly would say she was in my heart, and I was thinking about her.
You just think it was too much?
Yeah, I just thought it was a little bit overboard. But hey, who am I to talk, right? The guy lost his mom 10 years ago. He has the right to dedicate it to whoever he wants. He won the tournament, and you know, whatever.
I will give you this. It did make it sound like it was like last month.
Right.
It
was 10
the
years
way
ago.
they kept going on about it, because everyone has lost some relatives. Most people have.
Listen, I lost my grandmother to a drunk driver 28 years ago or something. I don't know. I think about her all the time. I don't dedicate every win I ever have to her. You know, it happened a long time ago. I think about her. But hey, to each their own.
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I just don't care enough.
I understand that. But anyway, congratulations to Wyndham Clark. Ricky Fowler chokes again. Rory
guy's a
McIlroy couldn't make a
choke
putt all day. Yeah, Ricky's a great talent, but a big choker. So is Xander Schauffele. And Rory McIlroy lost by a shot.
He should have won.
Well, he couldn't make a putt all day.
He
you
shot
gotta make putts.
even. He hit greens. He just couldn't putt.
Couldn't
He
make a
should have
putt.
won that tournament.
Yeah, couldn't make a putt. But anyway, always fun watching the U.S. Open. The Aces with another W over the weekend. I think they're averaging winning by like 60 points a game. Not very competitive, at least for the other teams that come into town. And, of course, we had something called the Vegas Golden Knights Stanley Cup. We had the parade over the weekend. I did not go to the parade because I just thought it was a little bit too crazy, way too many people. But we are going to have Dan Duva, the voice of the Vegas Golden Knights, join us at the bottom of the hour, and he's going to share his experience with us, which I'm sure was a lot different than others because he was on one of the buses. He was with the team. So we'll talk to Dan Duva coming up at the bottom of the hour. All right, I don't want to call this controversy, but let me start off with a ton of positives, right? Of course, the Vegas Golden Knights winning the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Big deal.
Huge.
It's a huge deal. Metro Police did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job. There were no major violent acts or any incidents like what took
It
place
was not
in Denver.
like Denver.
And kudos to the people who celebrated but did it responsibly. Kudos to Metro Police. They did a phenomenal job. Really happy to them. Everything was very good from that standpoint. Everybody seemed to have a good time.
Agree.
With that being said,
Here we
there's
go.
always a caveat. Listen, if players want to take their shirts off, it's a little strange. I'm not like homophobic or anything. It's a little weird. But they're obviously a little bit inebriated. They're having a good time. I don't think it's World War III if you take your shirt off. That's fine.
It's 95 degrees, too.
I might have enjoyed it a little bit more if the Las Vegas Aces celebrated that way, but that's okay. That's another story for another show. Then I definitely wouldn't be complaining. But listen, several members of the team, including Jonathan Marchessault, Wild Bill, a few others, they took their shirts off. Okay, a little strange, but okay, fine, no problem. They're drinking. They're having a good time.
I didn't even think about it.
Here's where things got a little weird. One of the people on the Vegas Golden Knights, big part of this team, he's a part of the Misfits. It's interesting because everybody called him Wild Bill, and I always thought, for the most part, I've never seen him do anything wild. I mean, he's a hell of a hockey player. He had a great year one and had a really good playoff run this year, had a good year. He's always been pretty much a level-headed kind of, I hate to use the term, but kind of a boring personality. Well, he got really drunk at the parade. And I want to play for you the audio. There's some swears in there that we had to bleep out. Keep in mind, over 100,000 people there, plenty of kids. I don't even know really what he's mumbling about and talking about. And there's a point in this video where, I don't know if it's his wife, maybe, significant other is trying to get them to take his mic away. I don't know who gave him the mic.
So that is her name is Kim Franks.
Yes,
she is the PR like the wrangler.
Oh, okay. So we have this
Knights.
PR lady about a minute into the speech. You won't be able to see it. We're playing it for you, where she's trying to get the mic out of Carlson's hand because he just sounds like an idiot. He's mumbling. He's extremely inebriated. The players in back are laughing, but I got to tell you, it was uncomfortable. There were points, and I think you would agree with me, it's uncomfortable. So let me play for it. Let me play it for you first, and then I'm going to have some criticisms. This isn't World War III. It's not the end of the world, but I do have some criticisms for the way they handled this. Here's Robert Carlson, completely inebriated, taking the mic on the stage at Toshiba Plaza with a ton of people that are watching live at home and there in person, including kids. Have a listen.
You guys can hear me? Yeah, you hear me? So, this guy, this effing guy. Yeah, I know. So, he was here day one. Yeah. And I know you have been here day one. You guys are so amazing. We played Arizona in the first game, and we beat the shit out of them.
What did he say?
And I had no points. No points. But that's okay. Because at year one, I was pretty great. But you guys were greater. And we've been up and down on this journey to the cup.
Pass it to Marshy. Marshy, you got something to say?
No. Listen to me. We've been waiting for 6 long years for this guy to be MVP. Jonathan Marchessault.
Okay, so there's a lot to dissect there. First of all, the guy that was yelling in a microphone, pass it to Marshy, is a guy by the name of Shane Knighty. He played in the NHL. He's a TV guy for the Vegas Golden Knights. Good guy. That was his nice way of saying, take the microphone away.
Someone help.
Yeah, and then you have a woman who we talked about in the background who's like a PR lady who's begging the speech to end. Now listen, let's be clear here. It's not like Robert Carlson. It's an uncomfortable thing, but it's not like Carlson was like saying like really horrible, egregious things. I'm not making, but he was swearing. He was mumbling. He was saying some things that people didn't even understand what he was saying. He was mumbling his words because he was drunk. Here's where my criticism comes in. I don't mind these guys partying. They're adults. Even if it's a parade, it's supposed to be a big party. They should be drinking. It's fine. Taking the shirts off is a little bit strange. It's not that I'm grossed out by it or anything. It's just it's just a little strange. You know, like, why are you taking your shirt off? I don't really understand that.
It's 90 degrees.
I mean, I get it's a little hot, but
I'm with
Think
you
of
on
all
the
the
other
people.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm with you on the other things you're about to say.
Yeah.
I don't care enough about the shirt.
yeah,
off.
I mean, it's not
It's
that
90
big of a
degrees
deal.
that party.
The problem I have is you have a lot of kids there, and you shouldn't be swearing into the microphone, which you did multiple times. It's supposed to be kid-friendly, family-friendly, just like at an NHL hockey game. You don't want that sort of language. That's all. I'm not Mr. Two Goody Shoes. I swear all the time.
Same.
But to me, it's like, okay, there are rules. There are FCC rules that you have to abide by. And you have to be somewhat professional on the air, even though with some would debate I'm not. I try to be. And I think that was one of those moments where you can scream and yell and have a great time and get chants going and do all that, but it's probably not the time to be using obscenities.
It was a swearing.
Yeah.
That's the only issue I had, because they can party, they deserved it, they brought us the championship.
Sure.
They can have the best time ever. They can speak, they can be drunk. I do not care about any of it. I watched it on TV and you knew it was coming, and then it came, and then they sort of switched the crowd and there's kids on the railing, and I'm like, all right, maybe just get it together with the swearing just for a couple of minutes, then go to the club and swear as much as you want. And I know he was inebriated, but we've all had a few drinks. I still think he could have got it together a bit better, or they could have taken the microphone away from him.
To me, it's pretty
earlier.
simple. And listen, the Vegas Golden Knights, it's hard to criticize them after everything they've accomplished and what they've done.
This isn't really even criticism.
But I will say this. The Vegas Golden Knights are very by the book when it comes to treating the media. They treat the media good, but everything's by the book. They're very careful when it comes to bringing players into the locker room after the game. It's like very one by one. This is how we do things, and we go by the rules and blah, 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 blah. Fine. But when it comes to that moment, who gave the microphone to Carlson? You had to know he was drunk and completely inebriated. Just don't give him the microphone. That's all. Let him party. Let him have a good time. So long as he's not exposing himself, which he wasn't doing, let him have a good time. No problem. Bad decision giving him the microphone. And I don't know who made that decision, but they should have immediately taken the mic away. By the way, I wonder what Robert Carlson would have done if, like, 5 seconds into his speech, somebody walks up. No, take the mic. He probably wouldn't have been very happy, so they were probably a little afraid at that, right? I mean,
he had his own personal microphone. When Stone was speaking, you saw him waiting with his own mic in his hand, and you can see him wanting to talk so bad. He's like wanting to get amongst it.
Anyway, I like Wild Bill. Great player, has been a big part of this team for a very long time. This organization and what they've been able to accomplish is very special. I'm not hammering the Vegas Golden Knights here. I'm just saying maybe not the best idea to let a guy that's that inebriated up there with his shirt off start swearing in front of a bunch of kids. And, just it was kind of a bad look, and it was kind of a little bit awkward. That's all I'm saying.
Do you remember when LeBron broke Kareem's record and they stopped and he did his speech and he swore at the end of that speech?
Yeah. Listen, there are certain times where I think it's actually appropriate. I'll give you an example. And maybe you'll disagree with me on this. I think there are times that they're appropriate when things are very emotional in a different way. For example, the Boston bombing, right? Several people died. Horrible situation. Very emotional for the city of Boston. And to me, in my lifetime, that was one of the most special moments between law enforcement and citizens, because they were really, really backing the police there. And it was very special when they got Tsarnaev in custody. I remember that Boston Red Sox game. It was a very emotional moment. Big Papi, a very emotional player, loved him as a player, loved him as a Red Sox. And listen, Papi was in Boston for a very long time. He still owns a home there. And he took the microphone and he said, "This is our effing city."
He got criticized for that.
Very appropriate. I thought that was an appropriate time to do that, just because of all the emotion and very different circumstance. You don't, people died in that bombing. This is a hockey championship. I understand people have high emotions as well, but this was alcohol. Okay, Big Papi was not drunk when he took the field and did that. Robert Carlson was drunk. He should never have been able to have had a microphone. End of story. And guess what? If he was in a 21 and over nightclub partying and they gave him the microphone, no problem. If he was in a bar, whatever the case may be, where it was like 21 and over, maybe even an 18 and over spot, I don't know, whatever, I would feel differently. All I'm saying is, in that situation, it probably was not a good look.
Well, I knew it wasn't a good look because I found myself cringing and turning my head away from the TV.
It was a little cringeworthy.
But Vegas handled himself so well. That was a first-class parade, I thought.
No question. I thought the parade in the video that I saw was phenomenal. It was fantastic. No serious injuries. Nobody, I don't think, got. I don't think there was any serious violent acts or anything. And that's a really good thing. And like I say, every New Year's Eve, Metro Police do a fantastic job. It was good security there. Everybody had a great time. I guess it's something to talk about with Carlson. But Cassidy, made some brief statements, and he already talking about a cup next year. So this team has a lot to look forward to for next year. They're going to have some very difficult decisions to make, and Dan Duva, the voice of the Vegas Golden Knights, will be joining us at the bottom of the hour, and we will talk about that. I do want to mention this. It was Father's Day over the weekend, right? Wish
It
my
was.
father a happy Father's Day. I'm going to be going to see him on Wednesday. So, Guy, you're taking over here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday. I've already showed you some of the fans you have on social media. So,
Is he making fun of me?
no, you do. You have some fans, and they love your accent. So, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday, Guy's going to be taking over. And I know you'll have some very special guests. I'm looking forward. I will be able to listen, and maybe one show I'll be able to call in. We'll see how it goes.
You shouldn't have said that before you were going, because now the viewership's just tumbled. Listenership.
I don't think that's true. Anyway, I wanted to wish a happy Father's Day, if I may, to the Orange Turd. Is that okay? Can I do that? Is that all right with you?
Why do I feel like this may be sarcastic? But yes, go ahead.
No, I'm never sarcastic. Happy Father's Day to the Orange Turd, who cheated on the mother of his first 3 children, with the mother of his 4th child, and cheated on her with the mother of his 5th child, and cheated on her with a porn actress who he paid to shut the F up about it. Welcome to Republican family values.
You wrote a monologue?
Isn't that nice?
That was like poetic.
Hey, listen, I'm being very sincere, and I'm wishing Donald Trump a very happy Father's Day. What a model citizen. To the party, by the way.
You were very sincere then.
I'm being very sincere.
I've never seen you so serious.
To the party that calls themselves family values. You know, when they talk about transgenders and, you know, and people who are gay, they always want to talk about family values. Let me remind everybody, and people always ask me, why are you talking about Donald Trump? That's like saying, why are you talking about Joe Biden, for the most part. Donald Trump, whether people like it or not, the reality of the situation is, just look at the poll numbers, Donald Trump is the most popular figure within the Republican Party. He is the face of the Republican Party.
It's not even close.
Correct. It's not even close. So when people, I get this every day from people. It's like, oh, let's not talk about Donald Trump. Really? He's the leader of your party. Why don't you want to talk about him? Because they don't want to talk about what's in the news. Indictments, legal problems. The last crazy, ridiculous thing that Donald Trump said. You can't call yourself the party of family values when your spokesperson, when your leader of the party has done the things in his life that I just mentioned. You can't do that. And all they want, and I had a conversation with another moron yesterday, a complete moron. And if he's listening, he knows.
Where?
Through text message. He knows exactly who I'm talking about. He wants to talk about how Joe Biden is a pedophile because he sniffs kids, or a book that was written because one of his kids put out a book a year ago. And there's a few sentences in the book where she claims that Joe Biden showered with her as a child. How many fathers and mothers, when the child is very young, shower with them? That doesn't mean it's sexual, and it doesn't mean Joe Biden did anything wrong. And by the way, his daughter was trying to make money selling a book. But that's what they want to talk about. They want to talk about how Joe Biden, you know, gave a close hug to a young child, and for that reason, he's a pedophile. Let me remind everybody, I know I'm going on a tangent here, but let me remind everybody, Joe Biden has never been charged with a crime, not only as president, but in his entire life. He's never been charged with a crime. So for all you Republicans out there, let me give you something called a fact. Donald Trump has now been indicted multiple times. There's probably more on the way. He's already been found liable for sexual abuse. Forget about even the 25 women that allege that he raped them. I'm talking about facts in a courtroom, and I'm talking about twice impeached, twice indicted, probably be 3 or 4 times now, Donald Trump. But they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about how Joe Biden, they feel, is a predator, and he sniffs kids' hair. That's what, I mean, really, you can't make this stuff up. So I'm having this idiotic conversation with this Maggie yesterday, completely idiotic. And I just told him, I said, listen, if you think Joe Biden is a pedophile, I don't care. I deal with facts. And the fact of the matter is that Joe Biden's never even been charged with a crime, let alone convicted. Donald Trump is the twice impeached, found liable for sexual abuse, twice indicted president of the United States that you still support. So sit this one out. Am I wrong? I mean, it's like, I don't know what else to say.
If you go by facts, you're not wrong. Everything you said is exactly right. He keeps getting popular, and I thought the MAGAs were the minority. I thought they were Republicans and MAGAs.
Yeah.
But clearly, the MAGAs have overwhelmed with support the Republican Party because he's that far ahead in the polls. I don't get it. Is it time for these other candidates, whether it's DeSantis or whoever it is, to stop being gutless and weak and hoping for a miracle that maybe he will drop out, because he's not. Even if he's convicted of a felony, he can still run for president of the United States. Even if he's in jail, he can still run for president of the United States, technically, even though it hasn't happened before. Trump's not going anywhere. So it's time for some Republicans to stand up.
Yeah. And listen to this guy. The New York Times just put out an interesting story this morning. I want to get your thoughts on this before we take a break. They've revealed that Donald Trump may land a plea deal. And the reason why is because the evidence that will be used by special counsel Jack Smith at the trial is so top secret that it would endanger national security if it went public, and it gets worse. The New York Times is also reporting that Trump is likely to threaten to reveal the top secret information at the trial as a way to pressure federal prosecutors to drop charges entirely, declaring that it'll be nearly impossible to give Trump a fair trial when the evidence against him is so classified that it cannot even be shown to a jury. The New York Times also revealing that legal experts say that it is routine for federal prosecutors who are put in this predicament to offer a very attractive plea deal because America's intelligence community is so afraid of these top secret documents going public during trial. I guess the issue that I have is we can't let Trump get away with it. Why can't there be a way where some of the information can't go public? I mean, I don't know. I wish there was a way that they could do that.
Surely there is. Look, I've been learning more about Jack Smith recently. He is not dropping this case. He was in The Hague prosecuting war crimes criminals. It's a prestigious job. He was asked to come back for this. Part of the reason, because he hasn't been in the country for 2 years, so he's not part of the political system, and he's highly intelligent. He didn't want to come back. He said no at first. He liked his job. He has come back just because of his love of America and doing the right thing, and he's assembled a team around him and a lot of evidence. He's put his heart into this. He's not going anywhere.
No.
Anywhere.
I agree. So we'll have to wait and see how this thing plays out. We'll obviously continue to monitor it, but that's the latest. The New York Times put this bombshell article out, so we'll have to wait and see what happens.
For Trump's benefit, take a plea deal.
I agree.
I think that's the best thing for him.
I agree.
This evidence doesn't look good, what I'm hearing.
Well, from what I heard, he didn't want to take a plea deal months back.
Ego.
But maybe there will be one now. I don't know. I want to tell you guys about my good friends at Sahara West Urgent and Primary Care. They're located at 6125 West Sahara Avenue, Suite 1B. You don't need an appointment there. They take most insurances. If you don't have insurance, it's $95. I was in and out of there in like 25 minutes, man. I promise you, Andrew and Jessica will take care of you. Give them a call, 702-248-0554. You could also visit them online at SaharaWestUrgentCare.com. Sahara West Urgent and Primary Care. Check them out and tell them that I sent you. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we won't be talking to him about Donald Trump. I can promise you that. We might be asking him a few questions about Robert Carlson. Was Dan Duva inebriated over the weekend? Dan's a great guy, great voice of the Vegas Golden Knights, and Dan's going to be joining us next to talk about what the experience was like from him, from his perspective, at the Vegas Golden Knights parade. He's Guy David. I'm Brian Shapiro. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Jumpers Jungle Family Fun Center is an indoor children's jump and party space in Las Vegas, located at 2050 South Rainbow Boulevard. Kids of all ages can come and jump on our bouncers, race through the obstacle courses, speed down the mega slides, slam dunk into the basketball hoops, and much more. Are you looking for that perfect birthday party venue? Look no further. Jumpers Jungle has a party package that will fit your needs. Check out the open play schedule online at jumpersjungle.com or call 702-463-JUMP. It's time to jump your way to fun at Jumpers Jungle on the corner of Oakey and Rainbow.
The best choice for convenience, comfort, and value, My Place hotels are ideal for both short-term and long-term travelers. The rooms at My Place features pillow-top mattresses, microfiber bedding, and a variety of soft and firm pillows. All extended stay rooms offer their own kitchen, which includes a full-size refrigerator and a cooktop. On-site laundry facilities are also available for extended stays at pet-friendly My Place hotels. Book your stays online at myplacehotels.com. My Place Hotels, St. George and West Jordan, Utah. Make My Place your place.
Shopping is always easy with the Radio Shopping Show. Whether it's shopping during any one of our live shows right here on AM 1400 or listening live on the KSHP app, you can always call in at 702-221-7283 to pick up great deals with your favorite host. Or shop 24/7 at kshp.com. Go to kshp.com and select Shopper's Guide to browse hundreds of businesses featured on the show. Place your order online and we'll have it shipped right to your front door. With so many possibilities, it's hard not to shop.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Gwynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well, so I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Gwynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase affordable day bed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit sapphirepoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP. Thank you so much for joining us. Very fun Golden Knights weekend, of course. Hoisting the Stanley Cup everywhere. That Stanley Cup's been Lord Stanley's been very busy over the course of the last week. Hey, it's been a great ride, man. This whole year, the last 6 years, it's been a lot of fun. And what better person to kind of break it down from behind the scenes, right? I'm not going to ask him to break down a hockey game. I'm going to ask him to break down a parade right now. Of course, I'm talking about the voice of the Vegas Golden Knights. Always love having Dan Duva on. Dan, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. How you doing?
Brian, I'm great. Thank you. I've never had to break down a parade before. This will be fun.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're not going to be talking about penalties and a power play or goaltending. No, we're talking about play-by-play of the parade. First of all, how are you feeling, my friend? I would imagine I don't know if you're a big partier. I'm not either. I'm old, but I would imagine you've been having a lot of fun the last couple days, no?
What's the line? Is it Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin? I forget which said something about, feels bad for the folks who don't drink because when they wake in the morning, that's the best they're going to feel all day.
That's true.
That phrase has come to mind over the course of the last week a couple of times. I will say I am not as young as I used to be either, Brian, but it have been some fun moments, and there was definitely some partying, and just chatting with Justin off the air there. It was great to be part of the parade, but it was a citywide celebration, and it's almost like I wish I could have been here and there, and just to kind of get a little snapshot of where it was every place. because I mean, there were a ton of people, of course, at the game and outside after Game 5. Ton of people on the Strip and outside T-Mobile Arena for the parade and for the rally. But there were just as many, if not more, people elsewhere having other kinds of parties and celebrations.
Sure.
And it's neat to see the photos and all that kind of stuff, videos and things. It's just one of those things where you wish you could be everywhere.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, there were parties everywhere. I mean, in a way similar to the final game, Game 5, there were so many house parties, people watching the game that didn't go to the game. And
right.
It's just a big community. All right, so let me ask you this. I want to start before the parade, if I may. The night of the Stanley Cup win, do you go home afterwards, or does Dan Duva party with the players, or do you just say, hey, I'm going to call it a night and I'm going to go home?
Well, as fate would have it, my parents, Kathy and Tony, made the trip out from New Jersey. So they had come, and they have been to Vegas a number of times in the last 6 years to watch games. And when the Knights are out east, they come to games there, and so on and so on. And they had come to Game 1 of the Cup final in 2018, so they got to see the Knights win. They went back home, and the Knights lost 4 in a row. So they changed it up this year. Rather than coming to the first game or two, they said, no, we're going to come for Game 5. And what do you know?
What a choice!
So,
wow,
right? And I said to my dad, hey, you realize if you book these flights and hotels, you might not even see a game, good or bad, right? And he said, no, that's what we're going to do. I'm like, okay. And so to make a long story short, I got to spend a little bit of time with them leading up to Game 5. A little busy.
Yep.
But we landed in Vegas on Sunday, back from Florida, and they landed about the same time. So we got dinner on Sunday night, and the next day was pretty busy. And then of course game day was game day, and I didn't see them until after the game. And there was a party arranged for staff and members of the team and so on. And I got to bring my parents to that, which was neat. And, Mark Stone brings the cup over and that sort of stuff. So we had a great time. They were still kind of stuck on East Coast time. So
right.
I can't say it was, party all night like I'm sure some other people did.
Right.
But I will also say I was exhausted. There's a lot of, not just a long season and the series itself and the traveling, but that particular day, you realize what's at stake. You're trying to make sure you're doing all the things to be in the right position. You call the game. It ends up being a blowout. But then we were on the air for an extra, an hour and a half, longer than normal, to cover the celebration, the cup, and then Gary Lawless was on the ice to conduct interviews.
Right.
And then we wrap it up after that. So in other words, I was just gassed after the game. It's it's a physical experience to broadcast a hockey game on the radio, but here was this extra. It was like doing a triple overtime game in a certain respect. So I was exhausted. We did celebrate a little bit, but I'm sure I did not celebrate as much as some of the players did, apparently, until the sun came up.
So, Dan, it's been such a long season, so many emotions. It was a big moment for you. The season's finally finished. They've won the cup. You say goodbye, you're off the air. Did you take a few personal moments to reflect on everything?
Yeah, it was hard to keep those thoughts and emotions at bay during the game. I mean, leading up to it, of course, just to be in the Stanley Cup final as a broadcaster is a special thing. So many people do this for a long, long time and never get to do it. I've done it twice in 6 years. And then to be on the winning side of it, you kind of had a feeling it was going to happen. You never know that. And as a journalist and reporter, you never suggest that it's going to happen. You only, put out the possibility that it could. But then, you think about the people who've been there along the way, especially some of those media timeouts. And, we didn't have a media timeout. The last one, the under-6, never happened. there were goals and, there were no regular whistles. So we just were counting it down. And, when we did finally sign off, Gary had gone down to the ice for all those interviews. So when I signed off, the two people in the booth with me were Joe Sands, our engineer, and Justin Russo, who's one of our broadcast assistants. And I just turned to each of them and shook their hand and gave them a hug and thanked them for the work that they've done because, as you guys well know, the voices that listeners hear on the air offer but a small scope of what happens behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. What we do on the air is only a fraction of what happens, and so I wanted to thank those guys. They've been great, along with Ray Regal and Bobby Machado, and I could go down the list and the Knights PR staff. So I thought about those people, and then thought about people who were no longer with us and friends and family, whether they've passed on or just, those people who I would like to see here in coming days when I go back home. So that's where it comes to mind. And, the phrase that I kept coming back to is just, when you kind of appreciate it, people, savor the moment, soak it in, and all that. And that's true. There's a Stanley Cup out there that the players get to lift, and but for me, the work itself is the reward.
Yeah.
And to have heard some very, very nice things about what we said on the air has been gratifying. But the work itself is the reward for me.
No doubt. And you mentioned people maybe that we've lost. I thought about Frank Carnish, great guy.
That's exactly that's the face that I pictured in my mind.
I thought of Frank. I also thought about Brian Blessing, who used to do a show at this exact time at the station I'm on now. Great guy. You mentioned Joe. He does remotes for me. Joe's a great guy. I know how much he loves. I know how much he loves working with you. And there's so many people that I think of. Let's have a little bit of fun here, and let's talk about the last several days and some videos that circulated online. Let's start with Aiden Hill. Okay, Aiden Hill is known as, keeps everything close to the vest. Nice guy, very well-mannered and soft-spoken. And then I see a video the night that they won the Cup, or the morning hours, of Aiden Hill in Omnia nightclub, I believe, singing an Eminem song. And I thought to myself, that is so damn cool. What did you make of that?
I will admit I was not there for that in person. I knew this, like, oh, geez, are you going to Omni? I'm like, yeah. It was going to be a little bit too much for, as I already explained, but vicariously through the videos, you see what some of the guys did. They get interviewed so often. They're under a microscope. Everything they do, especially a goalie, gets critiqued, magnified, given a season in which the Knights had 5 different goalies win games. Aiden was eventually deemed the number 2 behind Logan Thompson, and then both of them are hurt, and then Hill comes back to replace an injured Brossoit, and here he is. He carries the team to the Cup. And, Aiden is not a man of many words. He's concise, but he is forthright. And finally, you see the personality come out, and some of those clamps are released, and he can kind of be himself. You don't have to worry about being critiqued at this point. I mean, he just won the Stanley Cup after getting traded for a 4th-round draft pick from the San Jose Sharks. I mean, could you have a better end to a season? First year with the club, and to bring a cup here, but just the summer before when he was acquired, and you probably have seen some of the memes or quote tweets or whatever else is out there, like, oh, this is a move that'll bring the Cup.
It's so great,
there
though.
it is.
Isn't it great, though, to see some of these guys come out of their shell a little bit? And while maybe, and I want to get your thoughts on this, maybe it wasn't the best idea to give Wild Bill the microphone the other day. At the same time, though, and I don't want to be too tough on anybody, listen, but at the same time, Wild Bill, we haven't really seen that side of him either. He's a pretty to-the-vest type guy. Yeah, he shows emotion on the ice, but every time I've interviewed him, and I've seen him get interviewed after games, he's pretty soft-spoken. And then we see him on a stage a couple days later. He's not flipping off fans, but just going crazy because he's a little inebriated. Yeah. He's throwing out a few swears here and there, but I'll be honest with you, I was laughing a lot when I heard that. What did you make of his speech the other day?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you knew it was going to be right when they started walking out and he slips and falls. You're like, oh, no. It's going to be one of those. But, again, it's like, they're so well prepared. It's like, in Bull Durham, where, Luke Lelouch is getting the pep talk, there from Kevin Costner, but, like just speaking cliches. Like, that's what you should do. Like, don't ever say anything. And that's, some guys are more revealing and more honest and candid than others. William, when William away from the rink, you get a better glimpse of his personality, and he's really an interesting, fun person. Well, of course, when he's around the rink and he's at work, he kind of subscribes to that, where he's not going to say very much. And it's almost as if everything he said there was letting loose everything that he might have held back over the course of 6 years with a microphone in front of him. And, for the first time, he was given the platform of his own. And as you said, he might have had some influence from from some illicit substances there. But he, I think, captured the spirit of the team and community, especially those who've been with it for 6 years. He said the things that you all kind of figured he thought or felt, and it finally did come out. It was good that he was kind of escorted away eventually.
What did you make of Shane Knighty?
That happened.
What did you make? What did you make of Shane Knighty in the middle of his speech in a nice way, saying, "Marshy, take the microphone"?
Right. Yeah, which might not have been the best second option either.
right. Marshy's standing behind him with his shirt off, also inebriated.
Right. Right. Yeah. No. I mean, Dave Gosher and I, right after it ended, Dave and I were talking about they had given Dave and Shane a script, and they had. Yeah, nothing on the script. I mean, what happened versus the script did not bear any resemblance to one another. They were just rolling with it, and you just some people were better equipped to speak than others at that particular point in time. And Dave and Shane were trying to figure out who. Mark Stone, of course, had to speak, but then they were kind of going through and trying to figure out who would be most appropriate. Or some people who really wanted to speak but were told. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't. And some people they wanted to speak and they said, "No, I probably shouldn't." So they were trying to deal with all of that, but I think that it was on the whole it was fun, and people loved it. And as far as I know, Williams' slip and fall did not cause any injury.
By the way, just so good for that, Dan. By the way, I don't know if you knew this, but there are shirts being sold online now that say "Day effing one," quoted by William Carlson. I think I might have to buy one of those shirts. I'm going to assume, Dan, you being the professional that you are, you did not join Marcia Show and Carlson and take your shirt off. Is that a fair assumption?
That is correct. Even though I was doused with all sorts of liquids, I will say that you get champagne in your eyes. It really does burn. But what the coolest dousing I think actually came after the parade was over. Todd Pollock is the Golden Knights ticket guru, and he's been. We're similar age. I think he's just a little bit older than I am, but he's been around from the beginning. He's the guy who, with Bill Foley, helped drum up all the season ticket deposits in the beginning, and he's just a fun guy, incredible hard worker. And after the parade, we were finishing our conversations, taking some photos, and then he had a can of some cocktail or whatever in his hand, and he asked me if I liked mango, and I said, "Oh, it's maybe not my favorite, but yeah, sure, mango's okay. What do you think?" And he took the can and just dumped it on my head.
I love that. I love it.
So I smelled like mango for the rest of
There's
the
worse.
night.
There's worse smells. Yeah, that's
exactly,
okay.
Exactly. So that was good.
What a great way to officially end the season. Dan, from your perspective, where you were with the team, what did the crowd look like? There's no official numbers yet, but it must have been pretty impressive.
Yeah, and Todd is the numbers guy. So I asked him, Todd, he's the guy who submits and publishes that final attendance number. What was it, 19,036 for the game? So, of course, he was the person I think, well, you must know how many people are here for the parade. and he, had no idea. But, I mean, well north of 100,000. He was speculating it could be north of 200,000. I'm not sure that and maybe the Las Vegas Metro Police Department will have a number at some point. I don't know how they could possibly project it out.
Right.
But you have, at least in Toshiba Plaza, we know it was above capacity. They started stopping people from entering the plaza. There were just too many people.
Sure.
And so that's got to be right there. It's 15 to 20,000 just at the plaza.
Right.
Let alone the rest of the route. So we staged in the loading dock area of T-Mobile Arena, and then turned up Frank Sinatra, and then cut through kind of the back of the Bellagio and emerged over on the north side of the Bellagio on Flamingo, and then turned onto Flamingo, and then just just cars people who probably had no idea that this was happening at that time, like cars just pulling over, were throwing beads and pucks and stuff that people are pulling over and coming out of their cars, out of sunroofs. The parade hadn't even started yet.
Oh, that's so
great.
Then, that's great.
You turn on to that intersection of the Strip where it meets Flamingo, and there were just people everywhere, and and you turn onto the Strip, and the fountains at the Bellagio are going off.
I got to ask you about that, Dan. I got to ask you because, it's one thing if you were at the parade, but you want to talk about a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You're on one of the buses, right? And you're a part of the parade. Like, you're up there on the bus. I just want to get that from your perspective. Like, it's one thing if a fan shows up and tells me what's going on, or a reporter, but you're actually a part of this parade. You're the voice of the team. What was the perspective like from you? I'm just curious. Going down one of arguably the most popular boulevards in the world, not just this country, of course, Las Vegas Boulevard, with the Stanley Cup champions as the play-by-play man. I'm just curious, like, what was that perspective like for you personally?
The first thing was, boy, we got a lot of construction going on right now.
Yeah, that's what we all think.
From the roads, demolitions, there's always something going on here. But then you're normally when you're in a car driving down the Strip, you're in a car, you're not looking down. So to be on the second level of one of these double-decker buses, you've got a perspective that you don't normally have. Just to talk about perspective in the truest sense of the word, just your angle on things. You can see down in a way that you don't normally see. So that, that's what they're trying to do with this intersection. Now I get it. But, and then, of course, all the people. But then, at first, it's the big picture and the little picture. The big picture is just the throngs, the numbers, the sheer mass of humanity that has swarmed to the Strip. And then as you look down, as I say, from that bus, and you're looking into, say, the first handful of rows of people who've swarmed to the barricades, the thing that comes to mind, guys, is the smiles. You could just see the joy in everybody's face. Like, that, to me, was the most rewarding thing about it. Just to see everyone just eyes wide open, people of all ages. There's nothing like, seeing a kid, 8 or 10 years old with a big smile, and then you've got one of these foam pucks. You point at the kid, you throw the puck, and the kid catches it. Like, that's, that to me was great.
Very, very special, and
then when the cup comes on your bus too, that was pretty neat.
Oh, yes. Hey, Dan, who was on your bus? Did you have any players there, or was that just broadcasters?
Yeah. So we had, let's see, Logan Thompson, All-Star cool. Logan Thompson.
Great
so he
guy.
was, he got a lot of attention. Yeah.
Yep.
It just as an aside, it was great to see that he and Lauren Brossoit were well enough to be in uniform to go on the ice to celebrate after Game 5.
Yes.
So I was there with Logan, Teddy Bluger.
Yep.
Who else was there? Braden Pahal, who got to play one game of the playoffs. And then the person who I was with the most, I don't want to forget our massage therapist, Raul Durantes, who's just a great guy. Used to play baseball in college. Just a great guy.
Cool.
But I was with Paul Cotter. I was kind of standing, seated next to Paul Cotter. And that really was great. And I'll just share a quick story of, he had scored that goal, 1-0 win against Chicago early in the season, and I remember talking to him, and I sent him the clip of, it was his first NHL goal. And I told him how I have some friends who have played the sport professionally, and I've gotten to call their first pro goal or first NHL goal, and I send him that clip on that date every year, which is pretty neat. So I said, hey, you're on the list now. So we got to know each other a little bit from that. He really appreciated it. He's a great storyteller, which you might not know. He is, and he had, again, a long story short, he had crazy travel home for Christmas, and he was telling me the whole story, and I simply said, Paul, like, do you write a journal? Like, you've got to write all this down. You're a great storyteller. You never know what's going to happen this season. Like, you might want to tell this story, to your family or in a book someday. Like, you've got to keep a journal. So I just said that to him one day. And then later that night, he sent me a text message with a photo. He had purchased a journal. So anyway, it was pretty neat that we were together, cool, there on the float. I mean, I've got stories probably with most of the guys, but that was a neat one, especially for his first full season in the National Hockey League. He very much soaked it all in.
Yeah, no question. So did I. I mean, about 20 minutes maybe after the Knights won the Stanley Cup, they let certain members of the media on the ice after when they were celebrating with their families, and I was fortunate enough to spoke with Logan Thompson, great guy. Spoke to gosh, probably 8 or 9 players, but I spoke to Foley. He was the first person I spoke to, and I said, Mr. Foley, you said within 6 years we were going to win a cup. How long will it be for you to get a second cup? And he looked at me and he smiles and he says to me, Just give me a couple months, Brian, and then I'll answer your question. And I just thought that was so funny and
Let
so
me enjoy
cool.
this.
That's Mr. Foley. That's the way he is, and I think it's great. Well, Dan, thank you so much again for joining us. You did a great job. You always do in covering the Knights and as the play-by-play man. And, hey, I think it's going to be an interesting offseason. I don't want to really get into specifics right now, but a lot of important decisions for McCrimmon to make and other staff members. But enjoy your time off, my friend, and always appreciate your perspective, whether you're breaking down a hockey game, which we usually do, or breaking down a parade. You're very good at both. So let's hope next year I can ask you to break down a parade again. That would be good.
That would be great. Well, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. Of course,
thank you.
Here during the playoffs, and of course throughout the year, it's great to speak with you guys and
thank you
and your listeners. So thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Always a pleasure having you on. Appreciate it, my man. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That is Dan Duva. Great perspective, by the way. As good as he is breaking down a hockey game and as the play-by-play man, he's just as good at giving specifics on what the parade. I don't think I've ever heard anybody break down a parade as well as Dan Duva just did. That was pretty damn good.
He's fantastic.
I like the Cotter. Yeah, I like the Cotter story he just gave us. The perspective, and I think it's very funny that he said the first thing he noticed when the parade started was, "Wow, we have a lot of construction here."
This Formula One better be good.
I mean, the videos are hilarious, right? And listen, yeah, I go back to Carlson. The guy was having a good time. There was nothing horrible that he said. He was just, maybe don't give a drunk guy the microphone. That's all. And by the way, Dan Duva made a good point. Giving it to Marchessault might not have been much better. But listen, the guys deserve it. They had a great time. A lot of fun. There's the weird audio of Aiden Hill. I don't know if we could play this because it's kind of a funny moment where these reporters are asking these hockey players, many of whom they don't even know who they are, but that's okay. That's another story. But Aiden Hill is getting interviewed live on a local news network, and I just want to play for you this quick interaction with Aiden Hill. It's actually kind of funny. And listen, Aiden had he sucked back a couple beers too, but have a listen to this.
What does it mean to bring this city its first Stanley Cup?
It's pretty wild. I don't know. I don't know what to do with my hands right now.
That's okay. Keep them natural. It's all good.
I don't know. I don't know what to do with my hands right now.
He got a little slurry there, didn't he?
So I was watching that parade. He did 8 shotguns within
8
just on the strip, just between Trop.
There's no way he did 8.
Want to bet?
8? No, I'm not going to bet you.
I guarantee you, he did 8.
Well, I'll tell you, guys,
I would be on my ass.
I think we all could agree on this. For the remainder of the playoffs and the time that Aiden Hill has played here, he certainly knows what to do with his hands. Speaking of somebody that knows
his hands are going to be full of money too soon.
See, this is why I'm a professional broadcaster. Speaking of somebody who knows what to do with his hands, guess who's joining us in studio tomorrow?
Who?
Porn star Evan Stone. You see how I did that?
Look at can we just take a second to pay homage to the greatest transition in radio history?
Not that kind of transition. We want our Republican listeners to continue to listen, so be careful with your words there, guy. I go from Dan Duva and then talking about a porn star. No, but in all seriousness, the reason why he's coming in studio,
That's what I was going to ask.
Not literally. I got to watch the words I use here. The reason why he's coming in studio is because he's running for office. The state of Nevada. He is running for office. And
only in Nevada, right?
We are going to talk about politics with Evan Stone, one of the most popular porn stars, certainly male porn stars of all time.
Did you have any idea what he knows about politics?
He's actually very educated on the issues. I disagree with him on a lot of the issues, but he's very educated on the issues.
Is he MAGA? Is he Republican?
He leans to the right. Yes, that is very fair to say.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah. So listen, I love Evan. He's a great guy.
So do I.
He's going to be joining us in studio tomorrow. Talk about a guy that scored a lot of goals in his career, Evan Stone. So he's going to be joining us in studio tomorrow. That's going to be very, very interesting.
Scored a lot of goals in his career.
He has.
Well done.
He's scored quite a few. He's also got a lot of penalties in the penalty box for high sticking. But anyway, that's another story. Another story for another show. He's definitely been in the penalty box a lot and a lot of game misconducts. So
just keep reeling them off. You're not even writing that down.
Here's off the cuff. By the way, thanks to Dan Duva for coming on. I love that guy. I really love Dan. He is so great. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, have you heard of this story? Yeah, there are some neighbors in Las Vegas that claim they saw aliens. I shouldn't say there are some neighbors. Yeah, there are some people who live in a neighborhood in Las Vegas. They claim they saw aliens land. And what makes this story even more ridiculous, in my opinion, is you're paying for it out of your own pocket. I'm going to explain exactly what that means coming back. He's Guy David. I'm Brian Shapiro. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams and treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Wynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well, so I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Wynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines, beware, go bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase affordable day bed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit sapphirepoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams and treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices. Office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
KSHP Open Road Radio. Monday night it's in on KSHP North Las Vegas, AM and FM, K29 6HP North Las Vegas, and KSHP.com.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. Somebody in our chat said, in referring to me, this guy gets upset because the hockey players take their shirts off but wants men in thongs and bras to read to kids. I can't today. Well, first of all, the first thing I would say to that is I'm not upset that guys were taking their shirts off, and I said that multiple times. That didn't bother me at all. And number two, I responded by saying, if this guy, and not you, guy, if you take your shirt off, the women go crazy. This guy in the chat, yes, I said to this guy in the chat, I said, if you take your shirt off, though, I don't think many women would enjoy that very much. But anyway, that's
of course you said that back to him.
Maybe I said maybe Mike Pence would enjoy it.
Can't help himself.
And who's the guy? Who's the liar? Who's the Santos? Maybe George Santos would enjoy it.
That guy is creepy.
George Santos, Mike Pence, and Lindsey Graham would all be salivating, I'm sure, if this guy took his shirt off. Anyway, welcome back to the show. I digress. Want to tell you guys about my favorite gaming bar in town, which is Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. Keep your shirts on there, ladies and gentlemen, even if you're William Carlson. But they got some great promos every Wednesday. If you earn 200 points and 300 points, you get to spin the wheel twice for a chance to win up to 3,000, and then 2 more chances to spin the wheel. And then on Fridays, if you earn 1,500 points, you get $100 in free slot play the following day on Saturday. Great food, great atmosphere. I went over there the other day and won a few bucks. And also, what did I get to go there? Oh, the chicken Alfredo. God, was that so good. Jackson's Bar and Grill. Check them out. Tell them we sent you. Guy David in the house.
Hi.
Guy David is taking the reins when I leave town, Wednesday through Monday. So some people will be very happy to hear that.
Or not. You're very trustworthy. I appreciate you.
I appreciate that.
You're just thinking, I'm not in Connecticut. I'm just going to turn a blind eye for 4 days.
You're a radio pro, and you'll do just fine, and I trust you. And trust me, I don't feel that way about everybody in this town, but I do trust you, and you'll do just fine. And I hate to make you go out to Sapphire Gentlemen's Club and pool all by yourself. I know that's going to be a challenge for you.
You're just sending me to a topless day club in a cabana by myself to do a show?
Yeah.
How dare you? How dare you?
I know, I'm sorry. And by the way, you're going to be bringing your girl, I think, and some of her friends. And
it's going to be a day.
I heard that tops will be optional. You can take your shirt off there, by the way. So if Robert Carlson walks in there, he can take his shirt off. And men or women, you're allowed to take your shirts off.
I hope he's listening.
Yeah, I hope he is. But so I got to tell you about this story that's been bothering me a little bit. And it's a local story.
I've been fascinated by it.
And it involves aliens, allegedly. So Las Vegas Metro Police got a 911 call. On April 30th, around 11:50 p.m., Metro Police officers with body camera video recorded something streaked low across the sky. Yes. Several people across eastern California, Nevada, and Utah reported seeing the flash, according to the American Meteor Society. About 40 minutes later, a young man calls 911 saying he and his family saw something fall from the sky and that there were 2 moving things in his Northwest Valley backyard. This is what was said in that phone call. Quote, "There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one is inside us, and it has big eyes, and it's looking at us. And it's still there," the caller told the dispatcher. "They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 feet. So maybe Yao Ming was in his backyard. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes. Like I can't explain it. And a big mouth. So maybe it was me. 2 feet too short. They're shiny eyes and they're human. They're 100% not human." Okay, so that's contradicting yourself. But anyway, that's the phone call that they got. So
he sounded clearly shaken by whatever he was seeing.
So several other family members confirmed not the aliens, but they confirmed this light across the sky. All right, so let's use some common sense here, okay?
That is confirmed by video.
Correct. It's a meteor.
Yeah.
And the meteor, and it was confirmed, and that's what meteors look like, you dopes. So here's why I'm angry at this. Okay, now listen, if you're a dope and you think that green aliens are among us in society and you've been probed by an alien, and maybe some of you have been probed by aliens, and I don't know, maybe that's why I don't know. I won't take it further than that. But
you stayed away from a MAGA joke again.
Yeah,
Well
I was
done.
going to make a MAGA joke there, but
I knew it was coming.
I kind of stopped myself there. Listen, if you're one of those people that wants to spread lies and you're an idiot, because yes, I think you're an idiot if you're one of those people that thinks you were abducted by aliens and aliens were in your backyard. Okay, whoever this was that called the cop was lying. Okay, no aliens were in his or her backyard. It was a lie. Here's the problem. When you call 911 and you lie about something, because clearly this was a lie, that's a crime. You can't call the police and lie about something. Why? Because it takes Metro's resources away. That's another call that somebody could have taken. It's taxpayer dollars. Even worse, the police came back to the scene to ask some follow-up questions because it's their job and they have to do so. The family that we're talking about here claims that they saw men in suits and sunglasses, like a scene from a movie, in the hours after this situation. By the way, I don't believe
like straight
that.
out of Men in Black sort of thing.
Yeah. By the way, I don't believe that either. I think this family's a bunch of liars.
Come
That's
on.
what I think, yeah. So here's where it gets really weird, and this is where your taxpayers and my taxpayer money could be going to probably some better resources than this. Metro Police said officers, and I don't know why Metro did this because it's absurd, but apparently this family was hysterical, and they thought aliens were to come down and probe them, I guess. So Metro Police installed temporary cameras for the family's benefit. Listen, if you want to give the family a benefit, take them into a psychiatric ward. That would be a lot better to spend our tax dollars than to set up cameras in their house.
Wait, were
which are
the
useless.
cameras up for their own safety from aliens or people that
Well,
thought they were nuts?
Apparently, it sounds to me like police did that as to comfort the family.
To comfort the family who saw the aliens?
Yeah, because allegedly they saw aliens, okay? It really is ridiculous. And it's ridiculous on so many different levels. Now, I know there's a lot of people that claim that Bigfoot exists, right?
Loch Ness Monster?
Now, when you claim that you see an unidentified flying object, that's very different than claiming that you saw aliens. An unidentified flying object is exactly what it is. It's an unidentified, it could be a drone, it could be something from China.
Something flying with no explanation what it is.
Right. It doesn't mean that it's aliens, okay? And people think if you see an unidentified flying object, that immediately it's some flying saucer with green aliens inside. No, that's not the case. There are plenty of reports of unidentified flying objects. Doesn't mean it's from aliens, doesn't mean it's from another universe. It just means it could be from another country. It could be some type of weather drone. There's a number of different things it could be. I saw this video of the flash of light. It was a meteor. That's what it was. And the first time I saw it, I said that's what it was. And it's so interesting, Guy, because all these people out there, and there's a lot of idiots out there that claim that they've seen green aliens and all this other stuff. Why have we not seen one video of one of these aliens? And I'm not talking about a video that, is in a movie. I'm talking about real video evidence. Why have we not seen one video? Everybody that says they saw Bigfoot, why have we not seen one video of Bigfoot? We have cell phones and cameras everywhere.
There's always a story to it. Something that's extinct or an alien, it's all like, I went to get my phone out, but it went. Or I went this, because it never happened. Let me ask you, I heard all the police recordings when they spoke to the family, and after that, I was so surprised how much credence, and with all due respect to them, gave to the family.
Yeah.
They took it seriously. And then one police officer even stopped someone on the side of the road near the house. It was on his body camera and said, I know this sounds stupid, but have you seen, paraphrasing, any 10-foot tall monster looking things from out of this world? He said that to a bystander in a car. Did that surprise you? Or is that just their job and they're doing their due diligence? But due diligence doesn't sound like the right word with aliens.
It's a really good question, and the best way I can answer that question would be to say...
Or should they be arrested?
I think if you file a fake report... Now listen, anybody can say that they saw a green alien, and then you could say to yourself, well, prove that I'm lying, right?
Exactly.
Obviously, this family is what's the best word I could use? Obviously, I don't believe them. I believe that they're liars. Okay, I do not believe that there were aliens in their backyard. I don't believe any of the stuff they said. This was a meteor, and they freaked out. Either one or the other. Either they freaked out.
But what do you believe they saw in their backyard? Because that wasn't the media. Do you believe they saw something, or do you believe they're making the whole thing entirely up?
I think they're making this stuff up. I don't believe
So there was nothing there, and they just called the police because they sounded genuinely disturbed. And that's why this has made national news. Because there's an alien story every day, but it doesn't make national news.
No.
It's because how disturbed they actually sounded on their recordings.
Yeah.
Are they just great liars? Did they do this for fun? Explain it to me.
It could be that they're crazy people. Okay, they could be crazy. It could be, and here's something else. This is something else that's a red flag. They agreed to do interviews with all these different members of the media, but then
they said no.
They said no to them. So I don't know.
I was going to ask you to try and get them on.
Listen, I would love to. I don't think they're telling the truth, but I'm going to take some phone calls right now, and I'm going to open up the phone lines. Am I wrong here? Do you believe this family? Do you believe that there were aliens in their backyard that were 10 feet tall? 702-221-7283 is the number to call.
Brian, you have heard the audio, right, of the family?
I have.
Do you agree that they sound sort of, they're good liars? They sound sort of sincere?
It's either one of two things. Either they're absolutely nuts and they're delirious and maybe they were doing some shrooms. I guess that's possible. Or they just want to make something up and make something out of nothing. Let me be very clear again.
And call the police, 911?
Yeah, there's evidence that this was a meteor. This wasn't an alien, okay? It wasn't an alien. They weren't aliens, okay? This was a meteor. The number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Do you agree or disagree with us? Do you think that this family is completely 100% genuine? Are you okay with our tax dollars going to that? Or are you on my side and say this is a waste of taxpayer money and this family should be psychologically evaluated? 702-221-7283. And again, that number, 702-221-7283. Let's start off with Wesley. Hi, Wesley. What's going on?
Hi, I'm a long-time listener of yours.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I never agree with anything you say politically, but I do 100% agree with you today. I just wanted to let you know.
It's a big moment.
Well, I appreciate that. Okay, let me ask you, Wesley. I'm glad you called in, and there's nothing wrong with disagreeing with me. Let me be very clear on that. But since I got you on the line, if you don't mind, let me pick your brain a little bit. What is the biggest thing about what I say, or Guy, that we say on this show, that you just disagree with me vehemently? Like, what is the one thing that you're annoyed with me on that you just disagree?
Well, that's a good question, and basically it's your your entire political thought process.
Okay, well, be
specific. I think smaller government's are better.
Okay, so
I think smaller government's are better.
Okay, so wouldn't smaller government mean I don't want the government involved in a woman's body, right? I don't want them involved with abortion. That's been my take since day one. I've never said that the vaccines should have been mandatory. So I'm not a big fan of government involved in your life. Now, I would like government to help people that are struggling, right? I mean, I'm okay with food stamps and welfare for people that need it to help poor people, but I would.
I've got a problem at this point. I have a problem at this point.
Okay, so tell me, what do we do? If you have a problem with that, I'm glad we're getting into this conversation. It's a little bit off topic, but that's okay. If you have a problem with that, then what is your solution to helping all the poor people in this country?
Well, my solution is the money we're spending now for illegal aliens and a lot of lazy people who don't want to work. The money should be for elderly people and people that can't take care of themselves, not funneling a bunch of illegal aliens in from Mexico or the 140 other countries.
So you can collect welfare and food stamps if you're an illegal immigrant?
As soon as you drop an anchor, baby. I mean,
No, hold on. Hold on, Wesley. Let's focus on this because it's a good conversation. I respect your opinion. So you're saying that you disagree with my take on welfare and food stamps to help people in this country because of illegals. And I'm asking you, where are illegals getting food stamps and welfare? If they're illegal, they don't qualify for food stamps and welfare. So I'm confused with your take.
Do they qualify for a free place to live, or are they just living on the streets?
So you're saying every illegal in this country gets a free place to live? Where are you getting that from? That's not true.
I'm referring to the people that are getting here within the last 6 months.
And I'm asking you, what governmental program gives an illegal a free one-bedroom apartment? I, with all due respect, I have no idea what you're talking about. They don't get food stamps and welfare. Now, listen, you can go walk into a soup kitchen and maybe, out of the goodness of a church, they'll give you some food. I don't have a problem with that. But I just want to focus on because you have a problem with me saying I want poor people in this country getting welfare and food stamps, and you disagree with that premise because of illegals. And what I'm trying to explain to you is that money isn't allocated for illegals. Now, if you want to say we're doing too much for illegals, right? I don't think illegals should get a driver's license. I don't think illegals should.
Well, just a minute. You're just saying that we're not doing anything for them.
I never said we're not doing anything for them. We were specifically talking about welfare and food stamps. Now, if there are illegals in this country, go ahead.
I think there's veterans, and I think there's elderly people like my wife's friends who are 89 years old and can't take care of themselves. That money should be going to them, not people that aren't supposed to be here. And I'll take my answer off the air. Thank you very much.
Okay, I would have loved to have continued the conversation with some other things that you disagree with me on, but I'm confused about your argument. But when somebody says, Guy, I disagree with everything you say, and my response is, okay, let's talk about that. What do you disagree with me on? And he makes generalizations and he's not specific, and then he says he disagrees with my take because I believe, and I think you're with me on this, poor people should be able to get help, food stamps, welfare. And then he talks about illegals, which, by the way, has nothing to do with welfare or food stamps.
I think he thought that illegals were getting welfare and food stamps.
I mean, I'm shocked that somebody that disagrees with me on an issue doesn't have the facts.
But I think you said it right. You might be able to walk into a place and get a bowl of soup at church. So I have no problem with.
So he's making the claim that
he disagrees with everything politically.
Yeah, he's making the claim that an 89-year-old in his family, I don't remember who it is, can't get help because of illegals. And I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. And here's something else. What's his solution? What's his solution? I didn't hear any solutions. It's interesting. The people that, and that's fine. He's welcome to call back and we could have a debate. The people that seem to disagree with me on a lot of issues, they'll disagree, but then they don't have a solution. When I talk about issues, gun control, health care, illegal immigration, you name it. You might disagree with me, but I'm going to come up with some solutions that I think would work. Like, for example, with immigration, right? The overwhelming majority, and this guy probably didn't know that, I'm going to assume, the overwhelming majority of illegals in this country are those that overstay their visas. But if you talk to somebody like that, I guarantee you he's going to talk about building the wall on the border. I've never heard any of these people have solutions for the illegals that overstay their visas. Now, I've talked about some solutions that I think would work. People that talk about illegal immigration, they don't understand that Donald Trump's policies and Joe Biden's policies were virtually exactly the same. They were exactly the same. So they want to blame the Joe Biden administration.
Well, one thing I'll give you a lot of credit for, which I think is also why you're very good on radio at what you do. You have your opinions. You have strong opinions. We all know your opinions. Listeners know your opinions. You have Republicans listening to the show. You have Democrats listening to the show. But you always want people to call in that have opposing views
I don't mind
to
a
you.
good
You're
debate.
like, it's a waste of time to have someone call in that completely agrees with me.
Yeah.
You want to have
I
a
love it.
genuine debate with someone. That's
love
not
it.
screaming at the top of your lungs, insulting everyone. It's having a
sometimes.
general debate on the issue at hand.
Yeah.
The only time it gets like that is when they scream at you,
hey,
and
that
then
guy-
it becomes completely
That
obnoxious.
that guy was very respectful. I have no problem with him at all. I'm
He was respectful. He got stumped by you because he wasn't prepared for it.
Well,
but he
if
was,
you're going to
he was
make a
respectful.
blatant, if you're going to make a blank slate statement that I disagree with you on everything but this alien story,
He was originally calling about the aliens. He just had to put in the comments.
He said he agrees with me. That's cool.
He just had to put in the comment he doesn't agree with you on anything politically.
I get it. Listen, I try to call it out as I see it, and some people are going to agree, some people are going to disagree. I
No,
guarantee
you want to debate. It's a good thing.
I'm never going to have
It's what we need more in America. I'm sick of the hatred towards each other on both sides. They belong in jail, but just all of it. I'm sick of it.
Well, blaming the issues that your 89-year-old mother or grandmother, I'm not sure And blaming that and the reason why she can't get care because of illegals is quite frankly ridiculous. First of all, we've had a ton of illegals in this country for a very, very long time. There are still many of governmental. So it's interesting. He's talking about how he doesn't want government to get involved. And then literally 30 seconds later, he's talking about how he wants government to help his 89-year-old family member. He's all over the place. I would recommend, Wesley, when you call back, have your argument ready to go. Let's have a nice, spirited, good, respectful debate. But just have your facts right. You can't tell me I don't want government involved and you want too much government involved, and then you're complaining that your 89-year-old family member, the government's not helping her. You can't have it both ways.
It's another thing a lot of people are saying on the right. They're like, I'm libertarian, you know, which means less government. I'm libertarian. But then they're like, the abortion, the everything, that they want more government involved in that, which makes no sense at all.
But I agree. But anyway, Wesley, you're welcome to call back anytime.
Please do.
Appreciate you listening to the show, and I look forward to another debate, if you want to call it that. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. And again, if you want to be a part of the conversation, 702-221-7283. Let's go to Carl. Carl, what's going on?
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys. I hope you had a good Father's Day. Although, Brian, I don't know if you're a father, but...
Not that I know of.
Okay. Is your partner father? I don't know that either, but...
he's not
yes,
my,
I am.
He's not my, for the record, he's not my partner. He already is taken. I just want to be clear.
Well, I meant your associate, yeah.
Yes, I am. Thank you so much, Carl.
Yeah, well, Brian, at least that's one day of the week. At least that's one day of the year that the far right can't call you a mother, right?
That's true. That's true. Very, very true. Hey,
Listen,
Carl, have you
called
seen any aliens in Las Vegas, Carl?
I called about the alien thing.
Yes.
Listen, they were aliens in their backyard. They were far right MAGA supporters, so I'm afraid. They did see a couple of them, but.
You think maybe Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene were in their backyard and they mistaken them for aliens? I guess that's very possible.
Well, as far as Marjorie Taylor Greene goes, I don't think any alien would accept her for any relation to them.
Yeah.
So, but what I really want to say, I'll be real quick. You may not believe it, but those people, actually, they're not mentally ill. It was just they wanted publicity. They got their publicity on TV and the radio, and that's all it was.
I wasn't sure if they did interviews. Have they done interviews since?
No.
I'm not sure.
That's what
They've
confuses
been
me
asked
about this.
everyone from Joe Rogan to CNN to Fox News. They're refusing to do any interviews.
Yeah, that's very bizarre. So Carl, let's go with that for a second. If they are looking for publicity, why are they not doing interviews? That's what I think. This is a family that is mentally ill. That's what I think.
Well, they need to have an examination of some type to find that out. I don't know. Just from one thing.
You think maybe I should knock on their door with either a Trump outfit on or maybe an alien suit and just knock on their door and say, "We've come for you"?
Yeah, they probably pack their bags and want to go.
They'd probably shoot me. They'd probably shoot me, so it's probably not a good idea.
That's the concern.
But I'm going to tell you a real quick story. This is real quick, and this is true. Because I don't lie. Everybody can attest to that. I'm just kidding. This was many, many years ago. I have a residence in Florida, and I was at that time I was living there. I live on the East Coast, a place called Bell Harbor. It's anyway. We were going to drive to the West Coast. Me and my wife you have to cross the Everglades. And it's US 41. It's called Alligator Alley. And you drive across the state and you have to go through the Everglades, basically. And we were driving through, and it was early in the morning, and we looked up and we saw this thing hanging in the sky. It looked like a large cigar-shaped something like a cigar. It was just hanging there, bright colored. And all of a sudden, it just raised up and shot up into the sky and disappeared.
A cigar that was hanging there. Wow, yeah. I could make some funny jokes.
Yeah,
We'll ask Evan Stone about that tomorrow.
Yeah, I said to my wife, "What the hell was that?" I don't know. So anyway, we went where we were going, and we came home. And this is a true story. You might not believe it.
Yeah.
But 2 days later, there was a knock at our residence.
Yeah.
and I came out the front door,
Yes.
and there were two men standing there. And you know what one of them said, and this is a true story.
What did they say?
You didn't see what you thought you saw, and they turned around and walked away. Now, how I explain that, I don't know.
Where is your wife, Carl? Put her on the phone. I want her to verify this story.
Oh no, she can't. She's not here. She's at work. But,
Why is she never there when you call in? I want to talk
because
to your
I
wife.
keep her working. I keep her working all
I
the
want
time.
to learn the secrets about Carl. I want to talk to his
Well,
wife. What is your wife's first name?
Susan.
Susan. I want Susan to call next time. Can Susan call next time?
Oh, I'll try to.
Can you make that happen for us?
Yes, I want Susan to call. I want to do a psych evaluation of Carl. I want Susan. Yeah, I'm just kidding, Carl. I'm teasing with you, Carl. Hey, I appreciate you calling in, my friend. And
well, I keep her working. I keep her working
All right.
to support me.
All right,
To support me.
How is your sex life with your wife? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst?
Mine is 3.
Okay, so you're saying it could be worse. Okay, well that's good. I think my parents are like a 1, so you're doing much better than my parents. Anyway, Carl, I'm just teasing you, my friend. Thank you for calling in.
My sex life. Okay, take care.
Thank you, Carl. We'll cut it off there. I don't want to reveal too much about Carl's sex life. Thank you for calling in, Carl. I appreciate that.
Okay, bye.
I'm just having some fun with Carl. But in all seriousness, get serious here for a second. This family has cost taxpayer money. People like you and me. They've cost us money. They are liars. They did not see aliens in their backyard. Everybody else that saw what they saw did not claim that there were aliens. It was a meteor. And I don't understand why Metro Police, it's not their job to make the family feel good, okay, to put up cameras. And I know those cameras have since been removed. It was a waste of time. The fact that the family is not doing interviews leads me to believe that they know they're full of crap. That's what I think. And they've probably been advised not to do any publicity or anything because they could be charged with a crime. That's what I think. You can't just call 911 and say you're being probed by an alien. Okay, you can't do that.
This didn't get released to the public till like a month after it happened.
correct.
So I don't know if the family intended it to be a publicity stunt. And then do you think after...
They got scared, maybe.
After all this national intrigue with it, they actually thought, oh, maybe we did see something, but it obviously wasn't aliens. Or are you just calling them and we better back off now?
Yeah.
Or are you just calling them flat-out liars?
I don't know for sure, but I think they need some help. And what I mean by help is not Metro Police setting up some cameras.
Do you need help if you just panic and say you saw something scary? They didn't use the word aliens.
Maybe they either need some anxiety medication. They need to go to the mental hospital. But I don't want taxpayer money being spent on stuff like this because I think it's nonsense.
I just don't know what the camera's there for.
Remember the radio host Art Bell? He used to talk about this stuff all the time back in the day. And listen, this is conspiracy theory stuff. Everybody thinks that there's aliens at Area 51 or 54 or whatever it's called.
51.
Yeah, 50. That's where they have the bar and the stuff in Vegas. That's not what I'm talking about. But no, in all seriousness, ask yourself this question, and I'll leave it at this. For all you people out there that still believe that we are among aliens and green people on this planet Earth and these UFOs are landing and people are being probed by aliens, if you're one of those people that thinks that, then answer this question for me, please. Why is it that we don't have one clear, succinct video, one, of an actual alien? Not one. All the people in the world that have cell phones with cameras on them, and just about every single one has access to that.
No, it's very convenient.
Why is it that we don't have one video? Well, I will tell you why. Because they don't exist. They haven't come to the planet Earth. Other species on other planets? Yes, of course, I believe that.
So wait, so you believe in aliens? Aliens can be fungus growing on another country.
I believe that there are other living species on other planets and other universes.
I just don't think they can get
There's
to us.
too
It's
many
too far away.
endless planets all over the place. So yes, I do believe that
we're not alone.
Yeah,
we're too big.
There's probably another Earth somewhere. It wouldn't
Yes.
surprise me, but nowhere where we can see it.
But
so that's
we
what I
have
think.
they're not amongst us. I don't believe in Area 51 either.
Exactly. There's no UFOs that are landing here. Now, Area 51, do you have some unidentified flying objects? not alien stuff, but maybe some weird stuff from other countries that they've absolutely. I believe that 100%. I mean, whether it be the world of drones, whether it be something from Russia or another country, a Chinese balloon. Yeah, it happens all the time.
It's a top
secretive
place.
And that's a UFO, so I'm sure they have some stuff like that. But are there green aliens that are locked in cages? No.
It's not Men in Black.
No. This family needs some help. And they need to stop calling 911 and claiming that aliens are infiltrating their backyard.
10-foot aliens.
No, listen, I've had
Huge.
a couple dreams where I thought aliens were probing me, and then I learned that it was Donald Trump in one of my dreams, and then I moved on.
Yeah.
I moved on.
You would have really been sweating.
I moved on. Yes, exactly. All right, he's Guy David. I'm Brian Shapiro. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Guy is going to give us an update on the Conor McGregor situation. If you're unaware, McGregor is accused of sexual assault, sexual assault after Game 4 of the NBA Finals. But Guy's going to be sharing some new information with us about his family situation that might surprise you. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement, and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event. It requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Wynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Wynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines, beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase affordable day bed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit SapphirePoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
All right, welcome back. It's Pushing the Limits on a Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow in studio, the porn adult star legend Evan Stone will be here, not really to talk about the porn business. Evan Stone is running for office in the great state of Nevada. Yes, he's trying to become a politician. So
I'm so curious with what he knows.
Yeah, well, we're gonna pick his brain,
What he knows
so
about
to speak, and
politics.
what it's like dating Katie Morgan because they're together. Yeah, we'll be talking about that. What's that Seth Rogen movie?
Zack and Miri Make a Porno?
Yeah, you remember her. She played a little role in that movie. She did.
I do remember her,
Harvey
yeah.
Weinstein. Yeah, she had some run-ins with Harvey Weinstein, she told me in that movie. But anyway, Evan will be joining us in studio tomorrow. I want to tell you guys about my good friend, Blake Gwynn. You might know this name because his father used to be the late, great Kenny Gwynn, used to be the governor here in the great state of Nevada. Well, Blake works for Keller Williams Real Estate Group. I'm telling you right now, if you're buying or selling a home, you want to call this guy. My parents called him up. My parents are moving here within a few months, and he gave them nothing but great advice. Blake's lived here his whole life. You want to talk to a real estate agent that knows this city inside and out, right? Knows the area. Blake is that guy. Please give him a call. Even if you're thinking of buying or selling a home, just give him a call. I'm not going to charge you anything. He'll give you great advice. I'm going to give out his number. Write it down. 702-540-3311. Again, 702-540-3311. There are people that are asking, well, what is Evan Stone running for? Well, you're just going to have to listen to the show tomorrow, and he'll tell you. The suspense.
Good tease.
Yes, the suspense. He's running for public office in this state. He's very serious about it. And I'm sure the Republicans are ecstatic to know that somebody in the porn industry, as a Republican, is running for office. Because, yeah, Republicans are just all for porn, right?
You can't help it.
You know what's sick about some of these Republicans? Like,
All right, here we go. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm going to go on another Republican rant.
Yeah. You got 30 seconds.
They all talk about 30 seconds. Put me on the clock. Guy, they all talk about how they're, do whatever you want behind closed doors. And most of these Republicans are so anti-porn. And meanwhile, I bet you it's Mike Pence that's watching more porn than anybody else on the planet. This guy. The Republicans that are so against pornography and nudity are the same guys that are probably cheating on their wives left and right and watch more porn than anybody.
Ever since Tiger Woods got caught cheating when I thought he was the most honest guy in the world,
Yeah.
now I don't trust anyone that looks completely honest.
I
Yeah,
know.
he started it. So I'm like, Mike Pence, perfect example.
Can I ask you a serious question?
He's
though?
sleeping with everybody.
I have to ask you a serious question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What type of porn do you think Mike Pence watches? Like he definitely watches porn, but what kind of porn?
Like race? What do you
Just
mean?
in general. There's all sorts of different porn out there. What? Oh, the clock ran out. What type of porn? I'm asking him a question now, though, so it's okay. My 30 seconds.
I'm
has
trying to work
expired.
out how to answer this within FCC
By the way,
regulations.
I had 30 seconds. My 30 seconds has expired. That's 21 more seconds than Donald Trump lasted with Stormy Daniels. I just wanted to make
No,
that.
I want to know about that question. Do you mean like race? There's different races. Do you mean different things
know.
they do?
There's all
What-
sorts
what
of
does that
different.
mean?
There's all sorts. You know what I'm talking about. There's all sorts
Like
of
man on
different porn.
man, woman
Anything.
on woman.
I'm just saying what
Man, woman,
Hey,
threesomes. What?
I'm not.
What are you
I'm
saying?
not gonna give you any hints. I just want to know your opinion. What type of porn do you think Mike Pence watches? That's all.
Well, I don't know.
I got you
What-
stumped.
I have so many things I want to say.
It could
No,
be-
he's trying to
It
say
could be
stuff that-
alien porn. I mean, I don't know.
You're going somewhere with this. Now I want to know where you're going with that. You just didn't ask me that question randomly.
Here's what I think Mike Pence watches. I think he watches.
You always have something in mind.
I think he watches the Police Academy movies over and over again, and he watches when they're singing YMCA. I think it was Police Academy 1. I think that's the. I think that's the scene that Mike Pence watches over and over again, and that's his kind of porn. Or maybe he watches people dance in church. Maybe that's the kind of porn I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, let's move on from Mike Pence, who's the biggest stiff on the planet. Let's talk a little bit about Conor McGregor, because we talked about this on Friday. It's a big story. He's the biggest face, I would say, in the history of MMA fighting. He's one of the most recognizable figures on the planet. I also happen to be sitting 5 feet away from him at Red Rock at a steakhouse.
He gave you a dirty look,
a few
right?
months ago, and he was not very kind to me. But he didn't throw any bottles at me or anything. We talked about what took place after Game 4, or what allegedly took place. We saw him take this woman's hand and go into a bathroom for about a minute or so. I think most people with any logic at all would understand what he was trying to do with her.
Yeah.
While I don't know for sure what happened in that bathroom, it appears to me that there was probably some making out and stuff, and then he probably was trying to take it a little bit too far, and she got upset, elbowed him and left, and she was upset. She called the police. I believe her. But now there's some new photos that have been released. Guy, I want you to explain to us what's the latest on this.
Well, Conor McGregor is obviously doing his best to show that him and his family, including his pregnant fiancée, are all good, because she was obviously out of the country when this took place. So she flew in 2 days ago to spend Father's Day with him, and Conor posted a bunch of photos on his Instagram yesterday of them looking completely in love. He is on a couch, he has a towel over him, his shirt off, and she's massaging his feet while looking into his eyes with a smile on her face and his face. Then there's also another photo he posted with them and the children all laughing and being happy, and he wrote in the caption, "Best Father's Day ever, God bless," or something like this. He's trying to show that his family's good, even though his fiancée has clearly seen this video of him taking a girl by her hand into a bathroom and security getting in front of the door so no one else can come in. But he's doing his best to show we are good as a family, even though it looks a little staged, Brian.
That's what I was going to ask you, because I look at these photos and he doesn't really put stuff like that up on social media very often. I find it very interesting that he puts it up now. I think this was completely staged.
It was.
I don't know the personal relationship that Conor McGregor has with his fiancée. I know that she's pregnant. I saw the family in Vegas a few months ago.
He announced the pregnancy the day after he
Right.
was taking the woman into the bathroom on
Right.
national TV.
Right. Which gives me more reason to believe that this scumbag was attempting to cheat on his fiancée. Reminds me of Donald Trump. But anyway, it's completely staged in my eyes. But here's the thing. I don't know the personal relationship between Conor McGregor and his fiancée. I don't. They could have an open relationship. I don't know. Here's what I do know. I can't imagine if you're a woman carrying the baby in your belly of the man that you are going to marry, whether you have an open relationship or not, that you enjoyed watching that video of your soon-to-be husband taking a woman into a bathroom for a minute, and then she claims that she was sexually assaulted. I can't imagine she's happy. And I believe there's no question that these pictures are staged.
They look staged.
That they probably told their kids, hey, to laugh and smile and jump on Daddy, we're going to take some pictures. And she played along with it, I'm sure. But I can't imagine behind closed doors that she's very happy at his behavior. It's going to cost him a lot of money. And this isn't the first time he's done something like this.
No, it's the second time, or maybe even third. But if you look at the rest of Conor's photos on his Instagram, they look nothing like these photos, which shows to me it was a desperate attempt to show the world that him and his fiancée are okay. But the point you made before, say they do have an open relationship. Say they do sleep with other people, maybe just he does and he takes care of her. Say that is the case.
Yep.
Still, the humiliation she must be going through with everyone looking at her and commenting about her to her, whispering about her, because of what he put her through by taking that woman's hand into a bathroom for a minute.
Correct, yep.
On camera so everyone in the world can see. That is just as bad, even if they do have an open relationship.
Yeah.
He has put her through humiliation.
I agree. Yeah, complete humiliation.
And I do wonder what he's saying to her behind closed doors, because he's got an ego. I wonder if he can be a little bit sincere and forthcoming to her in person. I don't know if he can, because it looks like he just made her do those photos.
I don't know if Conor McGregor is a rapist. Do I believe Conor McGregor has sexually assaulted a woman in his life? My opinion is yes. Do I believe that there are times in Conor McGregor's life where he forced a woman to do something that she didn't want to do? Absolutely. When you have the decision-making or lack thereof in a public place, a very public place, after Game 4 of the NBA Finals, when there are people everywhere. And
Everyone in the world knows who you are.
And you're right. I was just going to say that. Everybody knows who you are. And you take this woman's hand, knowing that people are going to see this and there are cameras, and you bring her into a men's bathroom, and you tell your security guards, and maybe Miami security as well, we're learning, to stand outside the door and not let anybody in, you are an idiot.
Yep.
You are a complete buffoon when you have so many sponsors and people that you represent and companies, and you decide to do that. It'd be one thing if you did it in privacy. Obviously, I would never condone any type of sexual assault or forcing anybody to do anything they don't want to do. But if you are going to cheat on your fiance and you are going to have a one-night stand or whatever the case may be, you do it in private. The fact that he did it publicly leads me to believe, or leads me to ask this question: how many times has he done something like this in private?
You wonder if he has a bit
This
of that.
isn't a one-time thing.
Yeah, for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
God complex, where he actually thinks he's invincible.
Yeah.
And you get that when you are so famous and you've gotten away with things multiple times that you actually think you've become invincible.
Right.
So that is what makes me think it's happened over and over. And I'll just say, he's more of an idiot. I don't think Conor McGregor's a rapist, not racist, because how many times it happens in everyday life? You think you're at a stage with a woman where you might not be, and maybe you try and go too far, but then you stop.
Yeah.
That's not rape. That's misjudgment.
Yes, I'm willing to believe that maybe. I don't know. If you sexually assault somebody, is that considered rape? If you fondle somebody, it's not necessarily, I don't know. The difference there, rape would have to be,
I mean, if
without
you're
too
both
graphic.
interacting with each other physically and you
Right.
try and go a little further and then maybe she or he doesn't want to,
Right.
that's not rape. But if you just grab a random person,
right,
that's sexual assault,
Yeah,
right?
correct. I think that's probably what happened, and we don't know for sure, but in the bathroom, the first thing you said, and we talked about this.
But
that's-
he's an idiot.
Yes, he's an idiot, and it's interesting that, you know, the higher ups at the UFC, you have the biggest face of your sport, and they're cowards. I mean, they don't like to talk about this sort of
Has
stuff.
Dana said anything regarding it?
On the record, I don't know if I've seen him say anything about this, but he should.
I would
He
have seen
should.
something,
This
yeah.
is a guy who just seen in public smacking his girl. There's a rage issue when it comes to some men that have a lot of testosterone, right?
Mm.
Whether it be the NFL, whether it be MMA, it happens really all over society, and it's horrible. But I've got to put an end to this, and I don't think Conor McGregor's learned his lesson, that's for sure. It's probably going to happen again and again and again and again. So, you know, looking back on this story, we all know what's most likely going to happen here. It's going to be a payout. It's not criminal. I find it weird that she's not pressing criminal charges. I find that to be a little strange. But
she's going to get money.
She's going to get paid. The question is, what's going to happen to the Miami Heat? Are they going to have to pay? Is somebody going to get fired, or multiple people going to get fired? And then she's also filed a lawsuit against the NBA, which I don't think should be liable for this. It's the franchise that should be liable. But I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not sure how this works. But the Miami Heat, if they had just one security guard that was assisting here, then they're going to be liable and responsible, and somebody's going to get fired. And yeah.
Connor's sitting here going, look, I'm going to pay her.
Yeah.
I'm not going to know the money's gone from my bank account because I have so much. She won't be allowed as part of me paying her to talk about it anymore. I'm going to fight again, and there's going to be more money coming in. Everyone's going to be talking about my fight, and this is going to be completely forgotten.
Probably, most likely.
For his fan
yeah,
base.
so I want to read a little bit, and Numchuck is nice enough to give me a little laundry list here of Conor McGregor accomplishments. I'm being facetious, of course.
Here we go.
So Conor McGregor sucker punched an old man sitting on a bar stool. If you remember that, the man that was sitting on the bar stool refused to have a shot of his alcohol, and he punches him in the face. There's video of this.
Because he refused to have a shot of his
Clearly it was assault, yes. That guy got paid off. He's got multiple DV incidents, right? If you remember the cart versus the bus injuring fighters.
Yep, that was bad.
He slapped a phone out of that kid's hand, stomping on it. He's insulted families and religion, which is not necessarily a crime, but it makes you a bigot. He insulted the mascot. I don't know if that was staged or not. I mean, I heard the mascot got injured.
He went to the emergency room.
Yeah, so maybe it wasn't. I don't know. And, of course, these rape allegations. what is the UFC doing? It's all
Well,
about
they're turning
money.
a blind eye.
It's all about
and
money.
Conor knows that.
I mean, how many? How about John Jones? There's another guy. I mean, how many chances are you going to give somebody before you say enough is enough?
That guy's at least been suspended. Conor gets away with everything.
Well, it's about money, and I'm sorry. That's what this is about. This is about money, and Conor McGregor is a moneymaker.
He's probably the most marketable man since Floyd Mayweather. Up there with him on the planet. That's why they fought each other.
Yeah. Well, listen, there are people on the other side that are defending Conor McGregor, and they're going after this woman. For example, there's one person named Amiri King who's got a large following on social media who said the woman accusing Conor McGregor of rape was chilling with him just 30 minutes after she claims the sexual assault happened. Okay, let me go frame by frame here with his statements, because there's a lot of idiots that are making... First of all, just because you're partying with somebody doesn't mean you can't be raped. So that is an idiotic statement and irrelevant to the fact...
That happens a lot of times.
Yeah. And there's a few other stories here. And then he says she didn't run to the numerous police officers in the arena. She didn't phone 911. She didn't ask bystanders for help. What did she do? 2 days later, she retains an attorney. That's not factually accurate.
That's very incorrect.
That is a lie. She did call the authorities. So, you know,
That
there are
night,
right,
after it.
Correct. So there are people out there that make claims like the Candace Owens of the world, right? And they don't have all the information. Of course she retained an attorney.
So there is new footage that came out yesterday of her still hanging out with him after the alleged assault took place. Does that change anything for you?
Yes. If there is video of her hanging out with him and chilling...
There is, and her lawyer's spoken about it.
After the incident, then I do have a problem with that. So we'll have to look into that, and that could hurt her case. We'll see what happens. Anyway, Guy, I'm looking forward to this tomorrow. We got Chris Wynn's favorite porn star, Evan Stone. He's going to be joining us in studio tomorrow. He lives here in Las Vegas, and he is running for public office. He's going to tell us tomorrow what exactly he is running for. We're going to get into the political issues with him in hour number 2. And my thanks, by the way, to Dan Duva. That was great. It was great having Dan on to talk a little bit about the parade. He's the best. Appreciate that. And we are going to call it a 22-hour break. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Everybody have a great rest of your day.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn?